Okay, I can see the charts now. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, everyone. Good evening, guys. Am I audible? Everyone, good evening, Ranjan, Jita. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to JavaScript Essential session. And today is the second day of the session. So again, like we are full of energy, and we're going to start with something really cool. So I can see all the chats. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Sanskar, Ranjan, Rajat, Sarma. Good evening, everyone. Okay, great, great, great. So now, yesterday we finished off at like the basics of conditions. So what we'll do today is we'll again start off with conditions. So we'll again learn something more about conditions. We'll also learn about switch cases, and then after that we'll move on to loops and then arrays. Okay, so once again, good evening to all the new people here and to all the people who are like continuing from the last to last sessions. Good evening to everyone, and welcome back to all of you. Okay, and one more thing, are we excited for today's session, guys? And I really hope that you found the assignment question. So it was like a really simple assignment because we didn't do that much yesterday. So it was a really simple assignment. So I hope you found it and you completed it. And no need to worry because the assignment submission date is like still you have 1 week, so you can like do it and submit it. Okay, everyone. So everyone, are we excited for today's session? Because we are going to complete loops, we are going to complete arrays, and we are also going to complete conditions. So these are the three things that we have in our mind. And if we get time, if we finish off these three things quickly, then we're also going to talk about objects. Is that clear? Yeah, there was only one assignment. Yes, yes. Sir, we can use any variables, right? Not only, yeah, yeah, definitely. You can like name your variables according to you. It should be just a good name. It should be just a meaningful name. That's it. You can take any name. You can give any name. You can give num. You can give any kind of data related name. The variable name, like the only restriction is, it's not even a restriction actually, but the standard is your variable's name should be meaningful, so that by reading the variable name, people can easily understand what kind of data you're storing in it. Like, don't name your variables A, B, C, D, or something like that. Simply name it meaningful. If you're storing age, name it age. If you're storing roll number, name it roll number. Okay, not a problem, Vilas, not a problem, buddy, not a problem. If you didn't find the assignment, you simply have to join the group. Okay, you have to join the group. So the group link will be in the chat. Simply join the group, and there we post the things that we do in the lecture and also the assignment questions. You can find it out there. So Vilas, the group link is in the chat. Please join that group, buddy, and then it will be easier for you. Okay, guys. Yes, coding. Yeah, the group link is in the chat. You can download. You can simply click on it and join the group. JSON and DOM is similar? No, Anish. No. DOM is the tree of your HTML. Okay, the tree of your HTML elements. JSON is a way of, what do you say, storing data, right? JSON is a way of storing data, and it like mostly it is textual data and numeric data. And DOM is nothing but the tree of your HTML. So DOM and JSON are completely different. They are not similar. Is that clear, Danish? I hope we are cleared. So JSON is just a format of storing data and sharing data on the network. DOM is the tree of your HTML document. Okay. What is the difference between front end and back end? Front end is like, see, first of all, you have to understand, like, see, there are two perspectives of looking at this. Now, guys, just before starting, let me just explain this doubt, because this is like a really like cool doubt. Every one of like you should know this. So see, there are two perspectives to look at it. Now, let's first of all focus on the client perspective. Let's say I'm not a coder, I'm a user. Okay, I'm just a user. So for me, whatever I can see is the UI, right? Whatever I can see is the UI. So for me, that is the front end. And whatever is happening for me, that's like the backend thing. So whatever I can see is the UI, and whatever I cannot see, like when I click on the button, something happens, like some data goes on, some data comes in. That is something that I cannot see. So that is backend for me. And whatever I can see, that is front end for me, or you can say the UI for me. But now, as a, what do you say, developer, as a coder, so when you're creating the UI, when you're developing the UI, okay, so basically the development of the UI is done using the front end technology. That is what you call as a front end. So when you use something to develop UI, basically that is your front end. Okay, and when you use something like to like work with databases and process the business logic, data submission, handling request, sending responses, that is what you call as a backend. So front end is nothing but that contains your UI logic, your UI development, your animations, your movement things, right? That is nothing but UI. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript basically are the front end technologies. And now backend is something that basically works with your data logic, your business logic, something that can handle requests, send responses, connect to databases, right? Has all the business logic, how to operate on data. All of that is nothing but your backend, or you can also call it server side. Nowadays, JavaScript is also used as the server side language. So JavaScript is in both. You can also use it as a front end technology. You can also use it as a backend technology. So simple. Front end is whatever you can see and whatever you use to create it. Okay, and all the like front end logic, all the things that you can see, that logic. And backend is nothing but something that processes your data, handles your business logic, connects to database, handles requests, send responses. So I hope this basic definition is cleared. Okay, now if you go deep, you can understand like how these things actually work, how these things actually connect. But for now, this much is enough, like the basic definition actually. Okay, okay, how much JavaScript need to learn front end? See, first of all, you can never end JavaScript. It's really big, it's very vast. But if you know the fundamentals, that's enough to go for any framework and like go good in front end development. So if you learn the fundamentals, the basics of DOM manipulation and all the programming logics, you're good to go for front end development. Okay, okay guys, so now without using any more time, let's get started. So yesterday we finished off at this, okay, if and else. So now at least we know how to execute a code based on a condition, right? So this code is getting executed based on this condition. So if this condition goes true, this will be executed. If this condition goes false, this will be executed. So else is basically for false condition. So if goes false, else will be executed. That's simple, easy. Yesterday we basically ended at this. So now let's move ahead, okay, and let's go a little more deeper. Okay, now let's comment it out. Now what if I have multiple conditions? Like this was only one condition, right? This was only one condition. If this condition is true, this will be executed. If this condition is false, this will be executed. So if the condition is true, I have something. If the condition is false, I have something. But what if in some cases I have like multiple conditions, right? For example, okay, fine. If this happens, do this. Otherwise, if this happens, do this. Otherwise, if this happens, do this. What if I have multiple conditions and only one of them will become true? Okay, what if I have something like that? So what can I do in that case? So for that also you have something. Okay, and again it's basically if and else, but the way of writing it, it's a little different. Okay, so you go like this. See everyone, so if you have like 3 to 4 conditions and only one of them is going to be true, how do you write it? You write it like this. If, this is the syntax guys, your condition in the block. Okay, whatever you want to write here, you can write, that will be executed. Now I have one more condition, and always remember, to write condition you'll need if. If you have a condition, you need a if. So for that, you have a keyword like this, else if. So if is required because you cannot write a condition with else. So this else if means otherwise. Basically, if this was not true, then check for this condition. So remember guys, we are not only writing else, we are writing else if. Basically, it's otherwise, check for this condition. So if is required. Wherever you're writing condition, if is required. So else if, and then you can have your condition number 2. Okay, and then again code. And now just like this, you can add multiple else if for multiple conditions. So if you have four conditions, you can add 4 else ifs. You can have 5 conditions, you can add 5 else ifs. Okay, so you can just go ahead. Now just to check it, let's do one thing. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create a variable. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's say just for testing. Okay guys, just to test this, we are creating a simple variable. So let's call it like grade. Okay, let's call it grade. Everyone please focus. Okay, grade, and let's like give it like 78. That's fine, just anything for now. So grade 78. Let's write some condition like this. If grade is greater than equal to 75. Okay, so I simply want to print. So let's go ahead, console.log. What I want to print, I want to print, let's say A grade, something like that. Else if grade goes greater than equal to 65, okay, or maybe 60. Let's go ahead and write console.log something like B grade. Let's write one more condition because I want to check it for one more. So let's go else if grade is greater than equal to 35, or let's say 40. Okay, so what we're going to say, we're going to say console.log, let's say we pass here C grade, something like that. Okay, and now what if all these conditions go wrong? So for that, again, you can add a simple else at the end that will execute if all the conditions go false. If any of the condition is not getting true, in that case, this else will execute for you. So let me just adjust the brackets. Yep, like this. And now let's simply go console.log. Let's say, so in this scenario, you can use this multiple if, because I like either it will be 75 or greater, or 60 or greater, or 40 or greater. Otherwise, I won't fail. So for these kind of scenarios, you can use a multiple if statement where you want to write multiple conditions, but only one of the conditions is going to be true. In that scenarios, you can definitely use multiple if. Is that clear, everyone? Now let's also test it out, because it's not perfectly complete. There are still some problems, but at least the basics are clear, right? So let's run this file. So copy the path, go in your browser. Let me just take a browser window for you. Here we go. Paste it, and also open the console, because that's where we are seeing our output. And here you go. Here you go. See guys, now we have A grade. Simple, right? Because see, what is our grade? Our grade is 78. So what we are doing, if grade is greater than equal to 75, print A grade. So grade is 78. So we are printing A grade. What if my grade was, let's say, 63, something like that? Yes, 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 Arshad. Please focus here now. What if my grade is 63? So what will happen in this case? See, if grade is greater than 75, greater than or equal to 75. No, 63 is not greater than or equal to 75 in this case, right? So that means this thing will be skipped. So now it will move on to the next condition. Now check. If 63 is greater than equal to 60, yes, it is greater than equal to 60. Fine. Execute this block and skip everything else. So in a multiple if one block is correct, everything else is skipped, because only one condition will become true. Only one block will be executed in all of these blocks. There are like one block, two block. In this multiple if conditions, we have 4 blocks. Remember guys, in multiple if, only one of the conditions will go true. If one goes true, everything else will be skipped. Simple. Is that clear? Don't worry, engineer. We're also going to talk about switch case. Don't worry at all. So everyone, are we clear with this? Yes, yes, Purnima. Yes. What is block? Block is nothing but basically a block of code, like curly braces. Simple. So when you put curly braces, open it, close it, in between you write a block of code. You write some code, right? So that's considered as a block of code. Mainly whenever you do this, this is considered as a block. This thing here is considered as a block, like a section or something like that. Is that clear? Arshad, I think you have joined late, buddy. Okay. So everyone, please tell me, are we cleared, guys? Are we cleared, everyone? Okay. Okay, perfect. Now, as I said, this is not perfectly perfect. Actually, there is some problem. So how to take grade number from user? Don't worry. We're also going to learn that. Don't worry. See, in JavaScript, we don't have like working like C or C++. Like we don't have C in or like, let's say, scanf or something like that. So in JavaScript, basically, it's a web language, right? So we again need to work with HTML if we want user input. Okay, so don't worry. Let's wait for some time. Don't worry about it. Okay, now as I said, this is not perfectly fine. Like for example, what if I've moved my conditions up and down? What if I do this? Let's say I move the 60 part on the top, okay, and 75 part on the bottom. Now let's say my grade is 78. Now remember, guys, this thing starts executing from top and goes to the bottom. So now in this case, see it now. My grade is 78. Perfect. Now I'm checking if grade is greater than equal to 60. Yes, 78 is greater than equal to 60. Okay, and also I forgot. Let me just convert it to B and let me just convert it to A like this. Now, focus everyone. I forgot that. So now I have 78. So 78 greater than equal to 60. Yes, 78 is greater than equal to 60. So it will simply print B grade. But you can see in the next condition, there was a condition for grade greater than equal to 75 and it was A grade. But because of the problem, because of the execution, it will print B grade. See, let's check it out. Now see, even if I have 78, I am simply going to get B grade. Is that cleared, everyone? So this is the problem. That means if I move my conditions up and down, I have a problem. That means my conditions are not perfectly written. So what is block? Block is nothing but it's just a section of code that you define using curly brackets. It's just a section of code that you define using curly brackets. Simple. That's what you call as a block. Like this is a block of code. This is a block of code. And this is a block of code. Is that cleared? And the whole page is also a block of code. Is that cleared, everyone? So to define a block, you simply use curly brackets in a programming language. So are we cleared, guys? That means this conditions are not perfectly fine. So how can we make it? How can we make them so good that even if I arrange them, rearrange them, they are still working fine? And for that now, we have to learn how to write multiple conditions. And we have learned that yesterday, right? We have used and or to write multiple conditions. So that is something we can do this. For example, we can do it here. Grade is greater than equal to 60 and also check that for B grade, grade should also be less than equal to or maybe less than 75. Now this is a perfect condition. Check if grade is greater than or equal to 60 and also check if grade is less than 75. Then only it should be B grade. See, in the first condition, I was writing grade greater than equal to 60. It means 90 is also B grade, 100 is also B grade. So now this is a perfect condition. Check for both. Check for the range. Is that clear? And we learned it yesterday, right? Now, only if this is true and this is true, then only this whole thing will become true because now we have a and in between, right? So now this is a perfect condition. And same goes here. We can again write and grade is less than equal to 100. That means the maximum I can go is 100. And here again, same. And grade is less than 60. And now it is fine. Now, even if I move my conditions up and down, it will still work. Save it and check it out now. Now I have 78, right? So 78 is greater than 60. Perfect. That means this will be true. And grade should be less than 75. No, 78 is not less than 75. So true and false. This whole thing will become false. So we'll move ahead. Is that clear? And now let's see if it is working. Now we should get a grade. And here we go. Now it's fine. Even if the top condition is not working, the second is getting executed. So that's how it is working. Is that cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Sir, we also learn about Blockly in this series. No, Shreyans, we are not going to talk about Blockly in this. We are only focusing on the fundamentals and basics of JavaScript. Is that cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? So now here we are using your logical operators to basically write these conditions logically correct. So these conditions were fine, but they were not logically correct. So we used our AND logical operator to make these conditions logically correct. And also, this is how you define a range of conditions, like from 60 to 75, from 75 to 100, from 40 to 60, something like that. So you're going to use this AND for defining ranges as well. Like, for example, see, in this condition you're mentioning, grade should be from 60 till less than 75, that is 74. So from 60 to 74, from 75 to 100, from 40 to 59. So you can also use this to define ranges, and that's how you write it. Sir, what we do if we want to get input from user? See, in JavaScript, basically, if you want to take input from user, there are two ways, but it's not like Java or C# or something like that. Here, it's a different way because it's a web language. So there is a web way of taking input. So either you can use a prompt box, or you can simply use an input field directly from the web. And don't worry, we are going to learn that because it's not directly a simple function like C or C++ that will help us to take input. So just wait for some time. Wait for some time. Is that clear? Okay, fine now, guys. So this was it. This was how you write multiple conditions. Okay, now let's move ahead and let's see one more way of writing conditions. Sir, is this if else ladder, else if ladder? Yes, yes. So see, guys, this is also called as multiple if. This is also called as if else if. This is also called as if else ladder. It's fine. It thing has multiple names depending on how people look at this. So this is the thing that is called as multiple if. I personally call it multiple if statement because it has multiple conditions. But you can call it if else ladder, you can call it else if ladder, or if else if. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, fine. Now, guys, let's move ahead and let's see the next type of next way of writing conditions. So the next way is using a switch statement. The next way of writing conditions is using a switch statement, is by using a switch statement. So let's see how to write it. So first of all, again, let's create a variable that we will check for our conditions. Let's create a variable that we will check for our conditions. Okay. So let's create a variable called var. Let's say something like what we can say, role. Okay. Let's say there is a company in which people have roll numbers. Now it's not a roll number, or let's not call it roll number. Let's call it DEP number. That is department number. So if it is department number 1, it is engineering. If it is department number 2, let's say it is the sales department. If it is department number 3, let's say it is the calling department. Something like that. Think of it like that. Is that clear? Why not else if for the last condition? Aditya, see, this is else. That means this will be executed if all the conditions go false. So I don't need else if because there is no condition. There is no condition left after less than 40. So that's why we simply have else. That means, okay, fine. If all of these conditions go false, execute this. So there is no need of an else if at the end because there is no condition. There is no proper condition for the end. Even if you write it, there is no need actually for fail because you have checked all the conditions that were needed, and at the end you simply don't want to check anything. Okay. So now, guys, let's say I have a department number variable, and 1 is for engineering, 2 is for sales, 3 is for marketing, 4th is for calling, something like that. And I want to write that thing. So how can I do that? So for that, you can definitely use a switch statement that helps you to write conditions like this. So let's see, first of all, how to write it. And I'm also going to tell you the difference between switch and if, because whatever you can do with switch, you can also do it with if. But then why to use switch? So I'm also going to tell you that. So please focus, everyone. So how to write it now? You simply write switch. And in the brackets here, in the brackets, you simply pass the variable that you want to check. You simply pass the variable that you want to check. So in my case, I want to check for department number. There we go. I pass department number. Now, so now the block is ready. So now this is the switch block of code. Remember, guys, it's just a block of code. Okay. Now inside switch, you write cases. Inside switch, you write cases for your condition. Inside switch, you write cases for your condition. So let's say we write case 1. Now remember, when I say case 1, this is not numbering. This is not numbering like, okay, fine, this is the first case, then second case. No, this one actually means like this. If department number is equal to 1. This is the meaning of case 1. Basically, internally, it is checking this. So if I write case 1, that means it is internally doing if department number is equal to 1. It is checking that. So you put a colon and then you put brackets and then whatever you want to write. This particular block of code, okay, this particular block of code will be executed if department number's value is 1. So remember, never think like case 1 is like case number 1, case number 2. No, this is not numbering. I can also put case 89 directly in the start. Case 89 doesn't mean 89 is the number of cases. No, 89 is basically the value of department number. If I write case 89, that means internally it is checking like this. If department number is equal to 89. Is that clear, everyone? So remember, this is not numbering. This is the value of the variable. So let's write case 1. And now here I can put anything I want. So let's put a console.log. Simple. What was the department for us? Engineering. Okay, something like that. Let's put engineering here. Now, after this, you can put your case 3, let's say. That means if department number's value is 3. Whether the case value checks the data type and value? Yes. Yes. Because there are only two things that you can pass in switch. You will understand that. You can only pass numbers or characters. Is that clear? You never check for ranges here. You'll understand that. Don't worry. Console.log. Let's say marketing. Let's say we have one more case, case number 6. Let's say console.log. Let's say put like sales. And finally, in switch case also, you have final case that is called as default. It's exactly like else. Default is exactly like else. Okay, that means if all the cases go wrong, execute the default one. So it's exactly like the else. So I can put like, okay, fine, console.log all cases, or let's simply put like no department, something like that. Now guys, see, so basically internally it is working like this. If department number is equal to 1, print this. If department number is equal to 3, perform this. If department number is equal to 6, perform this. So now you can ask, sir, then why are we not using if here? Why to use the switch case? Like if this thing can be done using if else, why are we using a switch case? So remember guys, switch case executes faster. The speed of switch case is fast. Why? Because it is simply going to work for single things. Switch case always works for single things. That means you cannot do something like this. Grade is greater than equal to 40 and grade is less than 60. You cannot put a range of values. You cannot evaluate a range of values. Switch case is only made for single changes, single values. Like, okay, fine, department number is 1, do this. Department is 3, do this. You can never check department less than 1, greater than 2, something like that. You can never do greater than, less than things in switch case. You only check for if department is 1, do this. If department number is equal to 3, you only check for equality. That's fine. That's all. And a single values. You only check for single values in switch case. Okay. So if you want, you can also do this exact same thing with if, because by using if, you can do everything. You can check for ranges. You can check for single values. But if is a little slower than switch. That's why if you're working for single values, go for switch rather than if. Is that clear, everyone? Are we understanding this? Yes, Rahul, tell me, what is your doubt, buddy? Tell me what is your doubt. Yes, go ahead. Directly ask your doubt. Instead of saying doubt, just directly ask your doubt. Is using switch better than if else? Yes. For single values, definitely go for switch because it's much faster. For single values, see, you can also go for else if. You can also go for that. But that is a little slower than switch. So for single values, always go for switch. Don't avoid if else. Even if you use it, it's fine, but it will make your program slow. Is that clear, everyone? So simple. It goes like this. And I think I should zoom out a little bit because it's like too much zoom. Can you guys see my font size, everyone? Because you can't see all the code at once if it is like zoomed that much. Can you guys see my code here? Everyone? Is anyone having problem with the font size? Is this much enough, everyone? Guys? Or should I increase the font size? No? Okay, fine. I'll increase it. Not a problem. Okay, fine. Here we go. So now it's increased and you can see now. Simple. So whenever you want to like see for single changes, like it is 2, it is 8, it is 100, single values, go for switch cases. Never go for if. Is that clear, everyone? And that's it. That's how switch works. But this is not complete yet. This is not completed because I want to show you something else as well. Now, guys, see, everyone, please focus. Let's say my department number is 2. Okay, everyone. Let's say okay, we don't have any department like check for like 2. Let's go for department number 3. Now we know our department number is 3. Perfect. That means we should be printing marketing. Okay. Let's go and let's use it and let's see, is it correct or are we having any problem here? So let's do it. Everyone, please focus here. Here we go. Marketing, sales, and no department. Why? What is the problem? Everything is correct. So remember, guys, by default, there is something called as a fallout in switch statement that happens here. That means, see, this is a by default thing that happens in switch cases, that if one case executes, all the cases after that will execute. All the cases after that will execute. Don't worry, guys. A lot of people are saying me use break. Don't worry. I'm just explaining like what is the problem, like why we should use break. Because if I directly put it, it's fine. But you should always know, you should also know, right, why we are putting break here. So remember, guys, this is a concept in switch. It's called fallout in switch statement. That means whenever a case executes, after that, all the other cases will also execute. Like, see, we didn't see engineering because, yeah, that is not matching case. This case was matching because department number is 3. So we printed marketing. But once the case is resolved, after that, all the cases that are there will be executed. That's why we can also see sales and no department. So this is a problem. This is called as a fallout in switch statement. So if anyone in interviews ask what is fallout in switch statement, you can give this answer, that if you don't use break, this thing happens. If one case executes, after that, all the cases execute. Now, to avoid this, what you do is you go inside cases and you put a break. Break will basically end the switch case. Break is a keyword that breaks the block. So break will simply end the switch case. Break will break the switch case. Simple. So put a break here as well. Now, no need to put a break in default because that is anyways the last block, right? Even if that executes, there is nothing like that. Yes, you can also call it fallout or fall through. That's totally fine. Yeah, both are fine. Both are fine. A lot of people call it fallout. I have learned with a lot of people that used to call it fallout. So you can also call it fallout or fall through, right? You can call it both. It's totally fine. Is that clear, everyone? No, you cannot use a BR tag, Shivam. It's not HTML, buddy. It's program. It's JavaScript. It's like C and C++. It's not HTML right now, right? Are we cleared, everyone? Guys, what if we replace break with continue? Continue basically continues it, right? Normally we don't use continue in switch statement, but continue basically is for like, okay, fine, go ahead, don't break it. So we have to use break. We can't use continue here, right? Is that cleared, everyone? So this is how you use it basically, and no need to put break in default because that's the case that will execute at the very last if all the cases go wrong. So there is no need to put break in that. But if you want, you can definitely put it just for safety. If you want it, that's how you write a switch case. It's just like multiple if statement, but for single values. Okay, that's it. Simple, easy. Case W or case W. You have to use double quotes or single quotes. Shri Prasanna, if you're mentioning character or string, you have to use double quotes or single quotes. You cannot put it directly. Is that cleared? Shri Prasanna. So it's simple. If you like, guys, see, if you're not using numbers, if you're using character and string like A, you don't put it like this. Put it like this, or at least have a single quotes then. So, or a single quotes, like either a single quote or a double quotes for characters and strings. Okay. I hope it is clear. So that's how you write a simple switch statement. And now we are ending the conditional statements concept here. So this is how you do it. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, fine. Now let's move ahead. Let's comment all of this out. So now, guys, the concept of conditionals are done. I can still see people explain the break. Break is for basically breaking the switch case. You saw that, right? If one case executes, after that, all the other cases execute, right? So basically, let's say if case 3 goes true, if case 3 goes true, it will come inside the block, execute this console.log, and then it will basically tackle break. Break will basically end the switch case. Fine, stop the switch case. No more execution of switch case. Is that clear? Break is basically used to break the current block of code. Is that clear? So break is also used in loops. Break is also used in switch cases. If you want to break a loop, you can use break. If you want to break, so basically break is used to stop the current block. That's it. Is that clear, everyone? Continue is for different thing, Divya. Don't worry. Don't worry. Continue is for different thing. Continue is like but like there are some conditions where you use it, right? So continue is mostly used with loops. Continue is like not used here. Break is used to break the block. Continue is used to continue the block for some conditions, right? Normally for with loops, they work with loops. Is that cleared? No, Chandra, you don't have to put it outside the braces. Either don't use braces, or if you're using braces, you have to put it inside braces. Don't use it outside braces. Otherwise, it will not work properly. Right? Okay. Fine. Perfect. Now, guys, let's move ahead. Okay. And yes, I can see a lot of people saying ternary operator. Yeah, definitely. You're going to see it. For char, it will be single quote or double quote. Yeah, for char, you can go for single quotes. You can also go for double quotes. JavaScript allows that. But yeah, normally we go for single quotes for characters, for our understanding. If it is single quote, it's a character. If it is double quote, it's a string. Simple. Okay. Now, guys, I can see a lot of people asking for ternary operators. So now we are ready to learn it. Now we are ready to understand it. So remember, guys, ternary operators are nothing but they are just a simple way of writing if and else. Ternary operator provide you basically a simple way of writing your if and else. Okay, let's do it. Let's say I have something like this: age equals to 20. Okay, and I write something like this: age is greater than equal to 20. Console.log. Let's say something like this. Yeah, fine. Let's say you write eligible. Okay, something like that. Eligible. And let's add it else. If it is not greater than equal to 20, simply print not eligible, something like that. Okay. So this is a normal if else statement, right? This is how you write. If I tell you, like, for example, okay, fine, please write a condition for me where age is greater than equal to 20, you have to print eligible, otherwise print not eligible. This is how you write a if and else statement. So there is also another way of writing basic if and else statement, and that is by using ternary operators. So how do you do that? Let's see. And now yesterday I told you, right, in ternary operator, you simply used question mark and colon. So let's see how to use this now. So what you do is, this is how you write a ternary operator. This is how you use a ternary operator. Okay, first, you write a condition. So let's say I write age is greater than equal to 20. Then you put your question mark. Now you write the statement that you want to execute if this condition is true. So I can put this exact same thing. Here we go. Then you have to put a colon and then write the thing, then like put your code that you want to execute if the condition is false. Here we go. And then at the end you can put a semicolon, and that's it. This is how you use the ternary operators. Ternary operators are basically used for writing basic if and else statement, and use it only when you're sure that it's a very small code. It's going to be very small code. For example, if you feel right now there's only a console.log inside my if. What if there is a big code inside the if block? In that case, we're not going to use ternary operator. We don't use ternary operator for big operations like this. If you want to do multiple things, multiple lines of calculation or something like that, we don't go for ternary operator. But yes, for basic if and else logic, if you want to do some basic things, if you want to like just change some variable values or something like that, you can definitely go for a ternary operator. And if you see it, it's working. Right now, age is 20. So we should be getting eligible. Let's see. Here we go, eligible. And if I decrease my age, let's say 18 or 19, whatever it is, here we go, not eligible. Simple. So that's how you write a simple ternary operator. So first your condition, then question mark, the thing that you want to execute, on true, then colon, the thing that you want to execute on false. Simple. Is that clear, everyone? Guys, so ternary operators basically provide you a simple and convenient way of writing simple if and else. Okay, if you feel like there is only a simple thing that you want to do, there is only a variable increment or decrement that you want to do based on a condition, go for ternary operators. Simple. Is that clear, everyone? Mohit Goswami is saying, I'm still not getting how JavaScript is going to help me in web development. Okay, I'll tell you a few examples actually. See sliders. You see sliders on the web pages. You see how you like type in the input fields, and if you are wrong, you get errors, right? You see when you click on buttons, the page scrolls. All of these things are done using JavaScript. Now, these are just few examples. There are thousands of examples. You see, like when we like start writing on Google, we get results. That thing is also done in JavaScript, right? You see when you click on a add to cart button, on the spot the thing changes, on the spot the count changes, on the spot the button style changes. That is also done using JavaScript. Is that clear, Mohit Goswami? So that's how JavaScript helps you in web development. Almost everything that you see on the web page that is happening on button clicks and the movements, the animations, all of that things are done using JavaScript. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? So guys, see, for conditions, you have if and else, you have switch, you have ternary operator. Now it's up to you. How do you want to use it? Simple. Basically, mostly you're going to go with if and else or multiple if, depending on your situation, how you want to use it. Okay. No, Divya, if you want, you can write multiple conditions here. That's fine. If you want, you can write multiple conditions here like this, like one more condition. You can go for it. Whatever you want, you can write it. It's fine. Okay. Is that clear, Divya? So I hope everyone is cleared with ternary operators, guys. Okay. So see, guys, now you have three ways. You can use either if statements, you can go for ternary operators, you can go for switch, depending on the situation, depending on how much things you want to do. Simple. Okay, guys. Is this arrow function? No, it's not an arrow function. Okay, everyone, are we cleared? Guys, don't like move like really forward. Let's go step by step. Okay, right now we are at conditions. Now we're going to go with loops, and then we're going to go with arrays and then functions. Okay, we're also going to learn about functions, so don't worry about it. Okay, can you please tell what is string in simple words? Yes, string is nothing but a collection of characters, like a name, like my name. My name is Saurabh, so Saurabh is a string. S is just a character. Saurabh is a string, right? String is nothing but a collection of characters, right? So anything that is more than one character can be considered as a string. Is that clear, buddy? Okay. Now, guys, can we move ahead, everyone? Can we move ahead and can we start learning about loops? So now we know how to create variables. Now we know how to use operators. Now we know how to write conditions. Okay. Yes, Manas, that's totally fine, buddy. You can write like more than one conditions in ternary. It's totally fine. You can go for it. Okay. Perfect. Now, guys, let's move ahead and let's start learning loops. Okay. Now, everyone, like if you have ever found loop stuff, if in your colleges and schools if you have found loop stuff to understand, don't worry, we are going to make it really simple, but you just have to focus for the next 5 minutes. In next 5 minutes you will understand how actually a loop works and what it actually does and what is the use case of loop. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. Okay, fine. Now, first of all, let's talk about the basic definition, and then we'll go ahead to the coder's perspective. Then we'll see how to actually write it. Okay. So what is a loop? A loop in a programming language is nothing but something that helps you to execute a code again and again. So that you have to write code only once, but you can execute the same code again and again 100 times, 200 times, 400 times, 1000 times. For example, say if I tell you like I have 3 lines of code and I want to execute the 3 lines of code 10 times. Normally, you have to write the 3 lines 10 times. That means 30 lines. But by using a loop, you just have to write the 3 lines and then loop will execute that 3 lines 10 times for you. So a loop is simply a way of executing a set of lines of code again and again. Loop helps you to execute a set of lines of code or a block of code again and again, depending on how many times you want to execute it. Simple. That is the basic definition. That's why loops are there in programming languages, because in programming, when you're writing a program, a lot of times you write some code and you want to execute it a lot of times. And now, so that you don't have to write it again and again, you can use loops for it. Loop will do that too. Loop will basically do that for you. Loop will help you to execute that code again and again. Simple. That's the basic definition. Just keep that in your mind. That's it. Okay. And now let's see how to write a loop. And writing loop, it's like really, really simple. But I hope you're understanding, right? It simply provides you reusability so that you don't have to write the same code again and again. It helps you to execute the same code again and again if you want to. If you want to execute the same code 10 times, 100 times, loop is the thing that will help you. So now let's see how to write it. Now guys, see, we already know how if else works, right? And writing the basic loops is exactly similar to a if else. That's why first of all I'm going to write a if else, and then I'll explain the concept of loops to you. Okay? Or basically I'm not going to write a if else, I'm simply going to write a conditional statement. Simple if. Okay? So this is how you write a if statement, right? You have a if, you have a condition. Why I'm doing this, you'll understand, because there is a lot of similarities between a basic loop and the if condition. That's why I'm writing it. Okay, fine. This is how you write a basic if, right? What happens in this? It checks the condition. Fine. If it is correct, go ahead, execute the code that is in there and just come outside. Right? That's what happens. That's what happens in a normal if statement. I check the condition. If it is correct, come inside, execute the code, and once the code is executed, go outside the if and move ahead with the program. That's how a if works. Simple. Now, let's try to write a basic loop. Okay. Now, writing basic loops is exactly similar to a if condition. You write it like this. See, let's say you're writing a loop. So just like for a conditional statement, you have a if keyword. Just assume that for looping, you have a loop keyword. So loop, then you have a condition. Then here you can write your code. I can see, right? It's almost same. Simply you have a if. Here you might be having some other keyword that will help you to write a loop. But now see what happens. Now again, same thing. Check the condition. Perfect. If it is correct, fine. Go ahead inside, execute the code. Correct. Till now, it is exactly same as a normal if. Checking the condition, perfect. Come inside, execute the code, perfect. Exactly like if. But now here's the main difference. Now in if conditions, after the code execution, the control goes outside. Now I'm out. Now I'm out. But in a loop, once you execute the code, the control does not go out. It again goes back up to the condition and again checks the condition. And again, if it is correct, it will come inside, execute the code, and again it will go back up and again check the condition. Again, if it is correct, it will come inside, execute the code, and again it will go back up. That means after execution of the code, the control always goes back to the top of the loop, always goes back to the condition, no matter what. That's the by default feature of a loop. It will repeat itself again and again, again and again. And loop only ends when the condition is wrong. For example, condition is correct, come inside, execute the code, go up. Again, check the condition. Now, if the condition is wrong, then only I'll go outside. Otherwise, I'll still go in, execute the code, again go back to top. So basically, if you want to stop your loop, you have to break the condition. You have to make the condition false. That's like one way of doing it, but that's the most common way of exiting a loop or stopping a loop. Is that clear, everyone? That means actually it is a by default feature of the loop to repeat itself again and again. So basically, whatever code you put inside a loop, it will simply execute again and again because the loop is executing itself again and again, again and again. So whatever code you put inside that, it will execute itself again and again. That's the simple logic behind the loop. That's how a loop works. That means repeating is a by default feature of a loop. But now, how many times you want to repeat it, that is something that you can decide. Is that clear? Don't worry, Raji. Yeah, there is another way. I'll tell you that also. Don't worry, Raji. I'll tell you the other way of stopping a loop. It's basically you can again use break here. Just like you used break for switch, you can again use break here. But everyone, are we clear with the basic concept? Guys, don't worry, Gaurang. Don't worry, buddy. We are still starting with loop. So don't worry. I'm also going to explain you what is increment, decrement, everything. Don't worry about it. Let's go step by step. I want you guys to understand the basics of loop. How do the loop stops only when the condition fails, right? Yes, Divya. Yes. So everyone, are we clear with the basic concept here? That's how a loop works. That means it's a by default behavior of a loop to repeat itself. But now, do we have a keyword like loop? No. There are different keywords that help you to write a loop. So basically, there are three basic keywords available in almost all the programming languages that help you to write a loop. Okay, and they go like this. The first keyword is while. Next is do while. And the next is for. These are the three basic keywords or three basic types of loop that you have. These are the three basic keywords that will help you to write loop. So there is a while keyword that can help you to write loop. There's a do while keyword that will help you to write loop. There's a for keyword that will help you to write loop. Now you can ask, sir, why do we have three? While, for each. No, I'm not considering for each right now because that doesn't come under the basics. That can only work with the array. Right now, we're only talking about basic loop that don't require anything to run themselves. These are the fundamental loops. Guys, see, everyone who have ever learned about for each, map, filter, see, they are loops, but basically they are kind of loop that work with some kind of data. These are the three basic fundamental loops. So everyone, don't like right now, don't go into for each and everything. Right now, let's talk only about these three basic fundamental loops. Is that clear, everyone? We'll go step by step. Don't worry, we'll also see for each, but that works with some kind of data. Here we're only talking about the basic loops. These three loops are available everywhere, almost in all the programming languages. For each may or may not available, right? Map may or may not be available, but these are three loops that will always be available. Okay, now you can say, sir, if loop is working all same, if the basic working of loop is to repeat itself, and if all of these three are loops, why do you have three ways? Why not only one like while or for or do while? Why do we have three different keywords? So you'll understand, because these three keywords, basically they are all loops. They're going to create loops for you, but loops behave a little differently for all these three, some writing wise, some working wise. So let's see how to start it. So let's go ahead and let's see the first loop, that is with while. And while is exactly same like our example. So let's go ahead. Let's write while. And here inside this, you can put your condition or comparison, right? But again, if you want to put a condition or comparison, you need some data, right? According to the step-by-step thing we have learned yesterday, right? To write a comparison, you need some data. Fine. So we need some data. For data, we have to create a variable. So let's create a variable here, var, let's say num, and let's put it like 1. Perfect, fine. I have a data. Now let's go here and I can write a condition. Num is less than 10, something like that. So let's say num is less than equal to 10. Doesn't matter. Any condition. And then here inside this, I'm going to go and let's put console.log hello. Now let's execute this loop in our mind, not in our page. Let's just execute this in our mind for once. Okay. So num's value is 1. Perfect. Check. Num is less than 10. Yes, definitely 1 is less than 10. Fine. Come inside console.log hello. Yes, it will print hello. But now, according to the default behavior, it will again go back on top. And again check num, which is still 1, is less than 10. Yes, come inside, again print hello. Again go back to top. Again check num, which is still 1. That means here we are not changing num. Num is always 1. That means in this case, this condition will never go wrong. That means if I run this loop, it is going to continuously print hello, hello, hello infinite times, because this condition is never going to go wrong. That's why I'm not executing this. It will hang my browser. Guys, this will hang my browser. That's why I'm not executing this. Okay, it will basically stop my browser because it's infinite loop. It's going to go on again and again, again and again, again and again. So now how to stop it? And now we know, right? We have to break the condition if you want to stop it. So what is the correct condition? Num should be less than or equal to 10. That means if num is 2, this condition is still correct. If num is 3, this condition is still correct. If num is 9, this condition is still correct. And if num is 10, this condition is still correct. That means I have to go above 10 if I want to make this condition false. Simple, right? Less than or equal to is correct. So I have to go greater than 10. Fine. I'll do this. Num is equal 11. Perfect. Why not? Don't worry, guys. Don't worry about increment, decrement on all the things. Don't worry about it right now. We are going step by step. This is for all the people who are starting their journey into programming. Okay, I don't want to and I don't want them to understand loops like this, that okay fine, there is an initialization that is very important, there's an increment that is very important. No, you have to understand the core concepts, the basic, how a loop actually works. Okay, like increment decrement are not mandatory. You can break the loop without increment decrement as well. So you have to understand all the perspectives of a loop. Okay, so now fine, num is 1, correct. Come inside, 1 is less than 10, yes, perfect. Come in, print hello. Now simply I'm changing num's value to 11. That means now num becomes 11. Perfect. I'll go up, check. 11 less than 10? No. 11 equal to 10? No. Condition wrong, we go out. That means this loop will only execute one time. Save it. Here we go, hello, and it is only one time. Perfect. Loop is working and only one time. But what if I want it to execute multiple times? Now, my loop, my num is starting with 1 and I'm reaching till 10. Right, 10 is the correct condition. That means 11 is a wrong condition. So I made my num 11. But what if, that means now to break the condition, I have to make my num equals 11. Right, I have to go greater than 10. So if I want this loop to work multiple times, I have to make the condition false, but in some steps, not directly. Here we are making the condition false directly in one step. We simply write num equals to 1. Done, dusted, loop ended. So if I want to make this loop run multiple times, I have to reach 11 step by step, one by one. So what I can do is I can do this. Num equals to num plus 1, like this. Simple. So what will happen now? See, num equals 1, perfect. 1 is less than 10, perfect. Come inside, print hello. And now num equals num plus 1. So 1 plus 1, that is 2. And again store it in num. That means now num's value is 2. Again go back up. 2 is less than 10? Yes. Come inside, print hello. And again, num equals num, that is 2 plus 1, 3. Perfect. Now num is 3. Next time 4. Next time 5. Next time 6. Till 10. And then the time when it becomes 11, this loop will end. We have seen that, right? We have seen that. If it becomes 11, this loop will end. Let's see. And here we go. Now we have printed hello, but 10 times. So now it's up to you. You can also do plus 2. It will reach there in 5 times because now I'm incrementing 2. I'm adding 2, not a 1, 1, 1. I'm adding 2, 2, 2. So first time 1, next time plus 2, 3, next time plus 2, 5, 7, 9, something like that. So now I'm printing only hello 5 times because now my loop is running only 5 times. So it depends on you how you want to work. Is that clear? But let's for now, I only want to increment it by 1. So I can put num equals to num plus 1, or you can put num plus equal to 1. The shortcut, right? We learned it yesterday. You can put this shortcut. Or if you're sure that you only want to increment by 1, so we also have a unary operator. So you can also do this, num plus plus. That means you have multiple ways. You can do this. You can use plus plus only if you want to increment by 1. If you want to increment by some other number, by 2 or by 3, you have to go for this. Plus 2. Then in this case, you can mention like 3, incremented by 3 times, 5 times, 6 times, 9 times, is up to you. Okay, but yeah, if you're sure that you're only incrementing by 1, you can go for num plus plus. That's the best shortcut. Is that clear to everyone? So I wanted to make sure that you don't see that plus plus is the fixed thing. No, anything can be there. Any way of incrementing things or decrementing things is fine. No need to make your mind fixed about that plus plus, because I have seen a lot of people, they feel that inside loop plus plus is fixed always. There's nothing else that will come there. No, it's not like that. It's totally up to you how you want to increment or decrement it. Is that clear to everyone? So that's how a loop works. So in this case, you can remove it. Let's have plus plus for now because we simply want to increment it by 1 every time. And here we go, 10 times hello. Now if I want, instead of printing hello, I can also print my variable. Like let's simply print num. Right? We can print num. So now it will print 1, the current value of num, then 2, the current value of num, then 3, that is also the current value of num. So every time the loop executes, num increments and I'm printing that num. So now it should print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can also do this. Is that clear, everyone? So my loop variable is fine, but if I want, I can also print that loop variable. So everyone, are we cleared with the basics of loop? Now do while and for will be easier to understand. Don't worry about it. But are we clear with the basics, guys? Everyone, please tell me. I want answers from everyone. Okay, and I really hope that now You have understood loop in the best way possible. Now it's not tough, right? I really hope that now loops are not tough for you. Okay, now see, if you want, like while printing it, while printing it, you can also do this, right? Let's say I know that console.log num is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what can I do is, while just printing it, I can also say, okay, fine. While printing, let's multiply you by 2. So if num is 1, it will print 1 into 2. If num is 2, it will print 2 into 2. If num is 3, it will print 3 into 2. So in this case, I'm simply printing a table of 2, right? Num is going from 1 to 10, but while printing it, I'm multiplying it by 2. So 1 into 2, 2 into 2, 3 into 2, 4 into 2. So I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20. If I want a table of 5, I can multiply by num by 5. Because see, num is 1 to 10. I can simply multiply it by anything in between. So I have a table of 5. It's up to me how I want to do it. Is that clear, everyone? You can also do this if you want. See, simple. Let's put up a string here. Put some backticks. We have learned it, right? Let's say I want to print a variable. So we know how to print a variable in backtick. Let's say we print num. Okay. Then let's say we put like this, multiplied by. Then let's say I want to print 2 there. So we can directly write 2. Doesn't matter. Okay. Then I want to use equal to. These are just basic strings. Okay. Now here I want a variable. Here I want to print some variable data. So actual data, num multiplied by 2. Simple. Let's see. Here we go. Something like this. 1 into 2, 2 into 2, 3 into 2, 4 into 2, 5 into 2, 6 into 2, 7 into 2, 8 to 9 to 10 to, and the value. Simple. So you can like make it out. It's totally up to you how you want to print it. But I hope that you understood the basics of loop. No, you should never give two conditions actually. No. No, Janisha, that's not a recommended thing to put two conditions in your loop. No, that is something that we don't do here. Is that clear? Okay, I hope it is clear. But yeah, I think, yeah, if you want it, you can do it. But generally, it's not needed. See, what while requires, it requires a true or false value here. That's all, right? So if you want, you can put two conditions, but that is generally not required, Janisha. It's not wrong. If you write it, it will still work because it requires true or false at the end. And if you write multiple conditions, it will like only have a true or false at the end. But normally, it's like very rare. You never use it. Okay. Yes, Gaurang is saying take some minus example. Yeah, why not? Definitely. See, what if like now let's remove it. Let's simply print console.log num. So now we are getting 1 to 10. What if I want to reverse it? What if I want to reverse it? So I can start my loop. I can start my variable with 10. And let's say now my condition is num is greater than equal to 1. That means now I'm not going from 1 to 10. Now I'm going from 10 to 1. So if I want to go from 10 to 1, I cannot increment. Because if I increment, num initially is 10. It will become 11. No, I don't want that. Now I want to go reverse. So num minus minus, which will simply decrement it. Now I'm going from 10. Now I'm starting with 10 and going till 1. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's totally up to you. Now this loop is running 10 times. Doesn't matter if you're going in reverse or forward. It's up to you how you want to use your variable. It's up to you if you want to go forward direction or backward direction. But at the end, loop is running 10 times. You can use any variable. You can start with any values. Yes, definitely, but you can go for document.write. But using document.write is not a good practice because document.write works on the page, not on the console. So if you use document.write, it will overwrite your whole page, right? Right now, we don't have anything on the page, so we can go for document.write. But let's say you have a good looking web page and you want to write some JavaScript. You want to print something. You cannot use document.write, right? Because document.write overrides the whole page. We don't want that. That's why we print testing purposes thing. Whatever we're using for testing purpose, we print it in the console. We don't print it in the web page. Is that clear? So using document.write is not like recommended. It overrides the whole page. So it's a good thing if there's nothing on the web page, but it's a bad thing if you have a good looking designed web page. Okay, guys, so now let's move ahead and let's see the next kind of loop, that is do while, and you'll easily understand it because it's again a loop, but the way of writing it is a different and the way of working is a little different. So let's see how it works. Everyone, let's go ahead and let's see how it works. Okay, everyone please focus now. Primus is asking why didn't save file with .js extension. See, currently I am writing my JS inside a HTML page. You can see it, right? If I want, yes, we can do that. We can create a separate JavaScript file and then we have to link it. And that is something we'll also do tomorrow. Don't worry. I'm also going to show you how to write external JS. But currently, I'm writing my JavaScript inside a script tag. This is one way of writing JS. There are two ways: internal JS, external JS. Currently, we are going for internal JS. Okay, guys. And yes, there is one variable that is uncommented on the top. Let's comment it so that it doesn't cause any issue. Varun, it was just a string, buddy. See, as I explained it yesterday, that if you want to print variable and string together, you can also go for backticks. You can also go for templating. So inside this backticks, you can put any string, right? And if you want to print any variable, you have to use this dollar curly braces. And in this, you can put your variable like this. Basically, that multiplied sign and that 2 was fixed. So I simply put it inside string. That dollar curly braces makes JavaScript understand that that is a variable. That is a variable data. That's not a string. Is that cleared? For everyone who are getting confused with this, please, I would suggest you to go and watch the previous session. Everyone, please go and watch the previous session. There I've explained how these backticks work. It's a basic printing methodology. It's called templating in JavaScript. It's a way of printing variables and string together. So everyone, please go ahead and watch the previous session so that you can understand these basics. Is that clear, Varun buddy? So see, if you just want to understand that, first of all, it's not a single quotes, it's a backtick. So this thing is, I wanted to print my variable. Okay, and this thing was just a simple string. I wanted to print it as it is. Num was my variable and this thing was fixed. So I printed it as it is. Simple. It's just a string. It is just a string. Right? For example, I can also write Saurabh here. But I didn't need it. I wanted this thing to be there. It's just a string. Simple. And this was my variable. And for everyone else who are getting confused here, please, if you're directly on this session, please watch the previous session as well. There I've explained it. Okay, guys, now let's see the next way. So the next is a do while loop. So let's see how it works. Okay. So you write a do first. Okay. The syntax goes like this. First, you write a do keyword. Then you have a block of code. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's create a variable here. Var, again, num equals 1. Exact same loop. Let's write the exact same loop so that we can understand it simply. So you write do. Then let's say inside this is simply print num again. So console.log num. And also let's perform an increment operation so that we can move ahead. And now in do while loop, guys, see, it works like this. First you write do, then you write a block of code. That means now here we don't write the condition first. We first write do, then our block of code, and then at the end we write our condition like this. So do while loop goes like this. In while, you write your condition first and then execute the statement. In do while, you write your block first and then write the condition. First of all, see, in this case, it will work definitely same because see how it is working. Num is 1. Perfect. Num is 1. Come inside. Do means perform this operation. Do means execute this block. So do, perform this block. Fine. Console.log num. Fine. Num is 1. Print it. Num plus plus. Num becomes 2. Now check. While num is less than equal to 10. Yes. 2 is less than equal to 10. Go on the top and again execute the block. Again, now print console.num num. That is what? 2. Again, num plus plus. Num becomes 3. Again, check. 3 is less than 10. Yes, perfect. Go back top. So again, it will work from 1 to 10. That means in this case, it is working similar. 1 to 10. That clear? Now, the difference here is, first difference you saw it in the syntax. In while loop, you write condition first. In do while loop, you write condition at the end. What is the main difference? Let's see. What if I make my num 11? What if I make my num 11? Okay, what if I make my num 11? Now I can see that for the first time only the condition is wrong. Num is 11 and my condition is num is less than equal to 10. That means for the first time only the condition is wrong. But still, do while loop executes the code at least once. In while loop, you check the condition first and then execute the block. So in that case, if a condition is wrong, nothing happens. But in do while loop, first you execute the block, then you check the condition. That's why even if the condition is wrong, it is secondary. First you execute the block without checking anything. So block will execute at least once. So that's the difference between while and do while. In while, you check the condition first and then execute. That means if the condition is wrong for the first time, nothing will execute. And in do while, you execute the block first and then check the condition. That means even if the condition is wrong for the first time, the block will at least execute once. Is that clear, everyone? Do we have a project session for this JavaScript course? Yes, I'm planning for it. Yes, like we have a project session in almost all JavaScript courses. We have created some pretty cool things. So I'm also planning it here. Let's see how much time we get for that. Is that clear, Janisha? Like we always have it. We always have a project session in all the courses. Let's see how much time we get in this to do that. So everyone, are we cleared? Executes the block of code first and then checks the condition. Yes, Divya. Yes, exactly. So that's the difference between while and do while. That's why while is also called as entry control loop and do while is also called as exit control loop. Is that clear? Because one checks the condition at entry, one checks the condition at exit. Okay. What is the use of console.log on web design? Give example. You can see Sri Prasanna, console.log helps you to print anything on the console. Right? It is not disturbing your web page. It is printing on the console. So if you want to print something and see without disturbing your web page, you're simply going to use console.log because that is something that prints anything on the console and doesn't disturb the web page at all. Is that clear, Sri Prasanna? So that's why we have console.log, so that we don't disturb the web page. Okay. So now guys, let's move ahead and let's see the last loop for today. That is for loop. Okay. Now again, for loop working wise is exactly same as what? A while loop. For is also entry control loop and it works exactly same like while loop. The only difference is the syntactical difference. The way of writing is different. So how do we write it? Let's see. So what for loop says is fine. Now see, by working with these loops, we have understood that there are three basic components of a loop. First important thing is condition. To write condition, you need to create a variable. And to make the condition wrong, you need to change the variable. So these are the three basic components of a loop, right? The condition, the initialization, and the increment or decrement. Depending on what, the condition will become wrong. These are the three basic components of a loop. What for loop says is, okay, fine. If these three are the basic components, do one thing. Don't write them here and there. I will give you a way of writing all of them together so that it's easier for you to write them in one line, and whenever you want, you can see them at once. You don't have to go up and down in your code like this. Write an initialization here. Let's say let num equals to 1. Then put a semicolon and write your condition as well. Put a semicolon and write your increment decrement statement as well. So all the three basic components of the loop, creation of variable, the writing of condition, and incrementing or decrementing to break the condition, you can write all of it at one place so that anytime you want to check how this loop is working, you just have to see at one line. So syntactically, for loop is the best loop, and it is one of the most common loops, like most commonly used loops in the world, because it's easy to understand everything it at one place, and whenever you want to update it or change something, you just have to come to one place. Think of it like this. What if in while block there is thousands of lines of code? What if there's something like that? Then you have to go up and down to check. But here in this case, all the basic things are at in one line, so it's easier for you to see and update them if you want to. But working wise, it's exactly same as while. First initialization will happen, then check the condition, execute the code, increment, check the condition, execute the code, increment, check the condition, execute the code, increment, just like while, exactly like while. For is also entry control loop. Sir, can you help me, sir? For what, Mohammed? Yesterday also you were telling me, sir, you're not clearing my doubt, but I never saw your doubt. So again, what exactly you want help in? Can you tell me, Mohammed? Let's print the num here, save it, and let's go ahead and let's see. And here we go. Easy. Exactly like while. We have printed all the things here. You can see 1 to 10. So everyone, so you don't need to understand for loop like in much better way because it's exactly same as while. The way of writing is just different. That's it. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, are we cleared? Please tell me. Sir, my outlining is not showing. Which outlining, buddy Mohammed? Can you tell me? Which outlining? Why are you using let here? Oh, actually, I wrote it by mistake. I never wanted to. But now is the correct time to make you understand what is the difference between var and let. That's why I wrote it, because I just wanted to get these questions. Now, actually, see, everything has a correct time. So now it's the correct time to understand the difference between var and let. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, now guys, see, var was like the most common way of creating variables in JavaScript till 2015. In 2015, they introduced something called as let, because there were few issues in var. That's why in 2015 they came up with something called as let. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you the difference. What is the advantage of using let over var? But working wise, they are almost same, but there are some differences that make let a better choice. So let's see. Wait, same as what, sir? In what case coding? For loop. For loop is exactly same as while loop. Simple. Is that cleared? Coding apostle, are we cleared, buddy? For loop is exactly same as while loop. Works exactly same like while. It's just you write all the three components in a single line. That's it. Okay. Now, guys, can we omit the use of while loop instead of use for loop? Yeah, why not? Yeah, for most of the things, you definitely go for loop. For most of the things, you're definitely going to go for a for loop. Why not? Yes, definitely. Okay. Now, guys, let's see the difference between var and let. Now, first of all, let's talk about good programming principles. Okay. Sir, yesterday outline I was trying is not coming. I don't understand, buddy. Which outline are you talking about here? Mohammed Faz, which outline, buddy? Like, where was the outline? Okay, now guys, let's move ahead and let's see. Okay, difference between var and let. So now guys, see, in every programming language, variables are by default block scoped. In every programming language, variables are by default block scoped. That means if you create a block, and if you create a variable inside it, like for example, here I create a variable, let's say something like this, a equals 2. This variable will be available only inside this block. This variable will be available only inside this block. If I try to access this a outside the block, it will cause an error. This is a normal programming language principle. That means all the variables are by default block scoped. So in whatever block you create them, that is their main block, and only in that block they will be accessible. If you try to access them outside the block, you will get an error. That's how a normal programming language works. But in JavaScript, that was not the case. Okay, what happens is in JavaScript, like for example, see in this case, just let's try to understand in for. Now see guys, I have created var here, right? Normally in any other programming language, if you create a variable inside a loop, that variable should be only accessible inside that loop. That variable should be only accessible inside that loop, because this variable is created inside the for block. This variable num is only created for the for block, right? So in all the programming languages, if you try to access the loop variable outside the loop, it will not work. Let's write outside, and also let's access the variable num. Now, according to normal programming principle, here we should get an error that it's a loop variable, we should be unable to access it. But let's see what is happening. Here you go, see, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus outside the loop, I can see outside and 11. I'm getting 11 because I can access num outside. And this is what is wrong with JavaScript. This is what was wrong with JavaScript variables. This is what was wrong with var. And that's why they introduced something called as let in 2015 in the ES6 version of JavaScript, that makes sure that the variables are block scoped. So by using let, if you create variables, variables are block scoped, like all the other programming languages. So that's why from 2015, people have started using let instead of var, because let is block scoped, just like all the other programming languages. Var is function scoped. It is not block scoped. That's why we should always use let. And let's try it now. Let's see with let how it is working. See, here we go. See, I get 1 to 10, and when I try to access it outside, when I try to access this num outside the for, I get an error. Num is not defined. That means I cannot find num because it's only for the for block. Is that cleared, everyone? Guys, are we cleared? Everyone? How to comment multiple lines in VS Code? Coding Apostle, just select everything, press Control slash. Uncomment. Again, select everything, press Control slash. Simple. Is that clear, everyone? So that is the difference between var and let, and that's why you should always use let instead of var. I hope we are cleared. Okay. And yes, I'll also tell you about that. And also, guys, in ES6, that means in 15, they also introduced one more thing, that was const. So you can also create variables using the const keyword. But const is simply like final in Java. So whenever you create a variable using const, like let's say I create const n equals Saurabh. Okay. And let's say I print console.log. Let's say I print the n. Fine. I should get Saurabh. Let's see. Here we go. Saurabh. Perfectly fine. But now, if I try to change the value of n, let's see what happens. Here we go. I get an error. Assignment to constant variable. That means if you create a variable using const keyword, you cannot change it. It's constant value. Constant variable should have a constant value. It's exactly like final in Java. It's exactly like const in C if you want to create constant data so that no one can change it. Is that clear? So that's what const is. I hope we are clear. But the main thing was to understand the difference between let and var. So from now on, guys, you should always use let. Whether const is like defining a static variable in programming language? No, Divya. First things first, const and static are not same. No, static and const are different. So no, const and static are not same. Okay, it's not like defining a static variable. Static is different. Is that clear? Yes, normally when you're creating a static variable, you make them constant. Normally when you're creating like constants, you make them static for some reason. But constant and static are not same. They are completely different. Is that clear? Whenever you create static variables, they basically get shared between all the objects. Okay. And basically, you always try to make your constants as static because constants are never going to change. But constant and static are two different things. Constant means something that will never change. Static means that is something that is shared between all the objects, that is not created again and again. So for all the people who know about object oriented, just for them, just to solve your doubt, constant is something that will never change. Static is something that is not created again and again for each and every object. It is shared with all the objects. So both are different. Don't get confused. Is that clear? Yogesh, const is also block scoped. Okay, Yogesh? Is that cleared? Mohammed Faiz, buddy, if you want to connect me, you can just write down your doubt. See, I can't understand what kind of outline you're talking about. I'm so sorry about that, buddy. So do one thing, just go on the community, paste your screenshot, write down your code, and write down whatever doubt you have, and just tag me. Just write @Saurabh Gupta, and I'll see your doubt and I'll solve it. Is that clear, buddy? Okay. Anirudh, right now we are not learning about object oriented, right? So if I just make those things, people will get confused. So not a problem. Maybe in some future lectures, we'll again talk about static. So don't worry about it. Or everyone, see, if you want to understand, just like for right now, if you want to understand the difference between static and constant, there is my Java session on the Let's Upgrade channel. Go in there. I have explained how static and constant are different and how they work. Is that clear? Just if you want to understand it, you can go find my Java sessions on the same channel, Let's Upgrade, and you can find everything. Is that clear? And maybe in future, when we learn object-oriented programming, I'll definitely tell you the difference between static and constant. But for now, remember, static and constant are not same. Okay. When DOM? Tomorrow, Sri Prasanna, tomorrow we're going to start with DOM manipulation. And if you want to know about DOM, I think I explained yesterday what exactly is DOM. Okay, guys. So I hope that you guys are cleared with loops. Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared with loops? Yes, Mohit, I use that. Mohit Goswami, yes, I use that. So everyone, are we clear with loops? Can we move ahead now? Guys, can we move ahead and see the today's last topic, that is arrays? It is one of the simplest topics. I know that a lot of people find it tough, but don't worry. We'll again make it simple. It's one of the simplest topic to understand. Okay. So now, guys, let's move ahead and let's talk about the next thing, that is arrays. Again, one of the most important things in JavaScript. One of the most important things to learn in any programming language, arrays. Okay, so let's go and let's start. And again, just like we always do, let's first try to understand what exactly is an array. Is JavaScript a OOP? A lot of people are asking, is JavaScript a OOP? Yes, yes, you can perform object orientation in JavaScript. Yes, totally valid. Even JavaScript has its own version of controlled object oriented programming language called TypeScript. Now it's not a different language, it's just a superset of JavaScript, and there you write everything in object orientation. But you can also perform object orientation in normal JavaScript. Is that clear? Okay, guys, so now let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Okay, so what are arrays? Let's try to understand it very simply. Let's see the definition. An array is just a collection of elements of same type. In our case, it's going to be data, because we don't have like elements like chair or table, right? We simply have data. So in our case, an array is going to be a collection of data of same type, like collection of numbers, collection of strings, collection of booleans, collection of decimals. So array is nothing but a collection of elements of same type. Simple. That's it. Next point, an array, that means a collection of data, can be stored in a single variable. So array is a collection of elements of same type which you can store it in a single variable. For example, think of it like this. I want to create 5 numbers. Now, normally, if you want to store 5 numbers or create 5 numbers, you need 5 different variables. But if you're creating an array, you can store all those 5 numbers or those 5 data inside a single variable. And this small difference makes a lot of things easier for us to manage data. Array basically helps you to manage data in a more better and convenient way. And we're going to see that, don't worry. But for now, the basic definition, array is just a collection of elements of same type, which can be stored in a single variable. That's it. So let's see how do you create an array and how an array is going to make our life easier if you want to manage data. Let's see it. So let's create an array first. So to create an array in JavaScript, guys, what you have to do is first create a variable. So let's say we call it names, something like that. Or let's say we call it like anything, like let's say we call it data. Doesn't matter for now. Nitro Gamer, please don't spam the chat, buddy. Please don't spam the chat. If you don't want to learn, buddy, you can leave, but please don't spam the chat. Let everyone else learn. Please, buddy, please. Okay. So now, guys, let's go ahead. So let data equals. Then you simply specify square brackets here. Simply specify square brackets. And now inside this, you can put your collection of data separated by commas like this. 23, 35, sorry, 45, 67, 89, 12, like this. Now I have 5 different numbers stored as an array inside a single variable. That's the best part. Normally, if we don't have the concept of arrays, what do we have to do? If I want to store these 5 numbers, I need 5 different variables. And then when we want to work with this 5 data, we again have to manage those 5 variables. But here, that's not the case, because all the 5 things are stored in a single variable. And I have to only look out for one variable if I want to work with this data. That's the best part. That's the basic thing. But now you'll see some other things as well, how arrays actually make your life easier. So you're going to see that. So guys, see, this is how you create an array. This is how you create an array in JavaScript. Simple. Variable equals to square brackets and all your values. Very simple, very easy. Is that clear, everyone? Remember, guys, square brackets. Don't put round brackets or curly brackets. Square brackets. Square brackets is like the symbol of array. Whenever you perform square brackets, that's how arrays look like. Okay. Now then, what if I want to use a value from it? What if I want to use any data from it? So first of all, you have to understand one thing. How an array stores data. That is something that you have to understand if you want to work with the values. So remember, guys, arrays basically stores your data in terms of indexing. What array does is it simply provides a unique index to all these elements so that it's easier for you to access any element. And the indexing always start from 0. That means this 23 is stored on the 0th index. This 45 is stored on the first index. this 67 is stored on the second index, this 89 is stored on the third index, and this 12 is stored on the fourth index. Just like numbering, right? For example, if you like put a collection of bats in front of you, so how do you talk? First bat, second bat, I want the third bat, I want the fourth bat, right? When you put a collection of balls in front of you, I want the second ball, I want the third ball. That's how you select elements, right? That's how you select the bats or balls. That's how you select elements, by numbering. I want the first one, I want the second one. It's exactly same, but in terms of array, things start with 0. Remember this, things start with 0. Is that clear? Yes, Yogesh, this is a dynamic array, don't worry. I'm also going to show you how to add elements, don't worry. Okay guys, are we cleared? So that's the only difference. To understand indexing, remember numbering. How do you select elements, right? If you have a collection list of things, how do you select? I want the first one, I want the second one, I want the third one. In the same case, you look fine, I want the first value, I want the second value. But remember, in arrays, indexing or the counting starts from 0. Simple. So 23 is on 0th index, 45 is on first index, 67 is on second index, 89. So basically 23 is the 0th element, 45 is the first element, 67 is the second element, 89 is the third element, and 12 is the fourth element. Is that clear, Robis? Guys, are we cleared? Everyone please tell me, are we clear with this? That's it. So now let's see how to access it then. If I want to access an element. So now if you want to access any element from this, what do? Simply write your variable, that is basically your array name in this case, data, and then put up a square bracket and then mention the index of the element you want to access. Inside the square bracket, so first you write your variable name or your array name, you can call it anything, variable name or array name. See, data is storing an array. So simply data is your array. So data is basically your array name. So data, then you put a square bracket. So first you write the variable name, then you put the square bracket, and then in that square bracket, you mention which element you want to index. You mention the index of whatever element you want to access. So now you guys tell me, if I want to access 67, what is the index of 67? You guys tell me, everyone. Everyone, please go ahead and tell me. What is the index of 67? Remember, it is starting from 0. Okay, I can see everyone giving me answer. You guys are perfectly correct. It is 2. That is so great. That is so great. Okay. And by this, we should get 67. And that is amazing. That's what we wanted, right? And same, if I want to access 12, I know that is on the fourth index. So here we go. Simple. Easy. Done. Now, what if I want to access all the 5 elements? What can I do here? I can do this, right? I can do this. Find data of 0, data of 1, data of 2, data of 3, data of 4. I can do this, right? And here we go. I get all of them, 23, 45, 67, 89, and 12. Simple. Sanskar buddy, index is nothing but a numbering that is allotted to each element in your array. Simple. It's just, it starts from 0. That's it. Just like you number your elements on your table. You number your things. I have 4 shoes. That is my first shoes, second shoes, third shoes, fourth shoes. Just first element, second element. But in this case, in arrays, it starts from 0. Simple. Okay. So 0th element, first element, second element, third element, fourth element. Simple. Now guys, see, I have printed all of them. But now, again, we have a problem. What if, like, right now it's only 5 numbers. So fine, console.log 5 times. Amazing. What if I have 10 values, 13 values, 100 values, 1000 values? Now that can be a problematic thing, right? Because I don't want to write console.log 1000 times. So now you guys tell me, have we learned anything that helps us to execute a similar code again and again? Because if you see all of this, these all lines of code are almost exactly similar. There is only one difference, that is this numbering. So have we learned anything that executes the similar kind of code again and again and also can track numbers? We have learned it, right? We have loops that can execute same code again and again, and it also helps you to track numbers. And that's what we want, because see, everything is same, only this number changes, index changes, and that is something we can track using the loop variable. So let's go ahead and let's do it. So let's write a for loop. Now we know that our first element is on 0 and the last element is on 4. That means I want to execute loop 5 times and I want to start with 0 and end at 4. So let num, or let's call it let index, or for shortcut let's simply call it I. So let's I equals 0 because I want to start from 0, and I is less than equal to 4 because I want to go till 4. 4 is my last index, and I plus plus. So from 0 to 4 I'll go one by one. And then let's go inside console.log. Okay, simple console.log data. Now inside this I can simply put what? I can simply put I, and that's it, because I is going from 0 till 4. So for the now let's execute in our mind. Initially I is 0, perfect. 0 is then 4, yes. Come inside, print data of I. What is the value of I? 0. That means data of 0, it will print 23. Then I plus plus, I becomes 1. Is 1 less than 4? Yes. Come inside, print data of I is 1. So data of 1, 45. Next time 2, 3, 4, because I'm going till 4. So it should be printing all of my 5 values. There we go. So that's how loops are helping you. Is that clear? Yes, Sumedh, we can definitely go for each. But that is something that we have not learned yet, right? Because if you have ever learned it, you know that for each was not the first thing that you learned. Before for each, you learned for, you learned while, you learned do while, you worked with that, and then you learned for each, right? So that is the step we are following. We are going from basics. Is that clear, Sumedh? Is that clear, everyone? Guys, everyone tell me, are we clear with this? Shall we need to type array keyword while assigning value? Like the variable name? Yes, you have to. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Neetu. So everyone, are we cleared? Guys, please tell me. Mohammed, uh, Mohammed, I told you, right? I want to see like what kind of outlines you're talking about. So do one thing, buddy. Please go on the community. Just paste your screenshot, write down your code, and tell me exactly what outlines you're talking about. Because I want to see what kind of, like you're just telling me, I have an outline problem. What outline problem do you have, Mohammed? Just go on the community, buddy. Please post your screenshot and write down your doubt so that I can see what exactly is happening. Post the screenshot of your code. I want to see what kind of outline you're talking about, because I can't like think of which outline you're talking about. Okay, Akshata, it might be you have already declared I somewhere else. Just go and comment it out. Just see your code. You might have declared I somewhere else in your code. Just go and check it again. Is that cleared? Okay, Divya, you're talking about array keyword. No, we don't have to use any array keyword here. No, there's no need. Previously, there was something like that, but now you definitely have this one, the simplest way. There is one more way, guys, of creating array. See, there is one more way. You can also do this. Let data equals new of array. So you can do this thing as well to create arrays. Now it's up to you. You guys tell me which one is easier, the first way or the second way. You guys tell me, everyone. In JavaScript, you can also create arrays like this. Now you tell me which one is much more easier here. The first one, right? That's why I told you that. This is the best way. Don't even think about it. You don't have to use it. It's the old way. You don't have to use it. Okay? Okay, so everyone, are we clear to the concept of arrays? And as I told you, that is up to you. It's up to you what you want to store in arrays. If I want, I can also store names like Thor, Captain, Hulk, Hawkeye. Up to me what I want to store in my arrays. It's totally up to me. Yes, let's also put Iron Man. Let's not leave him, right? The 6 OG Avengers. So let's put Iron Man here. And now my array's size is increased. So let's go till 5 now, because now I have 6 elements. So it will go from 0 till 5. So here we go. Simple. Everything is here, right? All the elements. Do filters and map work outside Node.js? Yes, buddy. Yes, Edward. They are JavaScript concept. They are not Node.js concept. Edward, is that clear, buddy? So yes, filter, map, everything basic, everything about basic JavaScript works everywhere. Okay, guys. So simple. right? Everyone, are we cleared? What is the type of array? You don't have to mention it here. In JavaScript, you don't have to mention any type for an array. You normally don't have to. But yes, you can do it, but normally you don't need to do it. That's why JavaScript is also considered as loosely typed language, right? Arshat, what is your doubt, buddy? How to we store user input? Tomorrow I'm going to tell you. Tomorrow we'll see how to take user input. Don't worry. Tomorrow we will see how to take user input. Don't worry about it. Okay. So guys, are we cleared? So you don't share this yesterday's slide in community group. I have shared it, Subham. It's there. Have you joined the group, buddy? You have to join the group. Everyone, please. The group link is in the chat. Please join that group. We post everything, all the files that we create here and everything in that group. Is that cleared? Arshad, see, buddy, it's simple. This is the for loop, which is going from 0 till 5. So I starts with 0. Okay, then we check. 0 less than 5, yes. We come inside, print data of I. That is data of 0. That is Thor in this case, because that's the 0th element. Then I increments, I becomes 1. So 1 is less than 5, yes. Come inside, print data of 1. That is the first element. Data of 1. That is captain. Next, data of 2, data of 3, data of 4, data of 5. Is that cleared? How do we find array length? Okay, guys, see. Now, if you're asking this, if I want to check what is the size of my array. Now, guys, see, size of array simply means how many elements you have in the array. So in JavaScript, there's a property that helps you in that. You can write down the array name, then simply write array name dot. There's a property called as length. It will simply tell you how many elements are there in the array. Let's see. See, we get 6. It simply tells you, fine, there are 6 elements in the array. So length is the property. So I think someone was asking, right? So length is the property that helps you to find out the size of array. Size of array means how many elements you have in the array. Okay. So everyone, are we cleared with arrays? Guys, please tell me. Everyone, guys, Jyotsna, can you please put the group link in the chat once again? Okay. So everyone, are we cleared? And the group link will be in the chat, guys. Please click on that link and join the group. If you're unable to find any assignments or something like that, please join that group. We post everything there. Okay, please. Okay, a lot of people are asking me about two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. If right now I'm not like going through everything, but if you want to create, I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm creating an array. I want to create a two-dimensional array. So you can do this. Simple. So you can do like this. First, you have an array. Then inside array, you can have multiple arrays like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put up a comma. 45, 67, 89, 90, something like this. You can have it. So inside an array, you can have multiple arrays as elements. That's how you can create multi-dimensional array in JavaScript. Is that cleared? Is that cleared, everyone? So that is how you create. Simple. Nothing else. First create an array, then inside array as the elements create another arrays. Simple. That's how you create multi-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. So everyone, the group link is in the chat. Jyotsna, can you please put the group link in the chat? How to identify? It's simple. Yes, Maxime, that's correct, buddy. That's correct. That's correct. How to identify? It's simple. See, if I want to access, like, see, if I write AR of 0, that means the first element of AR. That is this whole array, right? See, that is that whole array. See, the whole array. And now I want to access any element from that. So I can put 0, 2. That means the element on the 0th place, that is this array. Then from that, the second element. So here we go. Second means the element on the second position. Here we go. I get 3. That is nothing but this. So exactly same like other programming languages. Simple. Yes, Divya, only in JavaScript it is possible. Because in all the other languages, you also have to specify a type, right? So yes, in JavaScript it is possible. So see, this is how you access elements in a multi-dimensional array. Simple. So that's how you create, right? Normal creation. First create array. Inside that array, create different arrays. Single arrays. And then to access, first AR of 0. That will give you the first element. But in this case, the first element is itself an array. So now from that, I want to access the second element. So again, of 2 at the end. Simple. But normally, we don't need multidimensional arrays in JavaScript, but that's fine. Here we have. If you want, you can put it. Okay. And one more thing, guys, see. In JavaScript, semicolon is not mandatory. You don't have to put semicolon. Even if you don't put semicolon anywhere, in JavaScript, things work. I just put it because I work with other languages as well. I work with Java, I work in Python, I work in some other languages as well. Not in Python too much. Okay, but I work with Java. I work with some other languages as well. Okay, so I don't want my habit of not giving semicolons in JavaScript to cause problem in other languages. That's why I prefer semicolon. Okay, that's why I prefer semicolons everywhere. Is that clear, everyone? So if you want, you can remove semicolons. It will still work. I simply prefer semicolons always because I work in other languages as well. Is that clear, everyone? So guys, everyone, are we clear with all the concepts that we learned today? And the most important guys, did you enjoy the session? Please let me know that in the chat, everyone. Did you enjoy the session? Did you understand everything? Yes, code runner, that is perfectly fine. You can do that, but then that is something that basically makes the definition of array wrong, right? Because what is the definition of array? Elements of same type. If you put different types, yes, JavaScript allows that, but then you're basically making your array concept wrong. Is that cleared? Okay, we can't use 0.5. No, it only works in Python, right? That colon thing, not here. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. We are ending at arrays, and tomorrow we will directly start with the concept of DOM manipulation. So we're directly going to start with working with HTML elements. Okay, so please go through the session properly, and I'll share the assignment also completed, and tomorrow we will directly start with DOM manipulation. And once more, guys, just announcement, if you want to learn everything about JavaScript and all the other things in web development, if you want to completely become a full stack developer, you can also join the advanced course in Let's Upgrade that is taught by me. So I'm going to teach you everything from basic till the complete end with multiple projects, and it's like a 6 months course. So there's a complete web developer course where I teach you everything from scratch to the end. So if you're interested, you can also go to letsupgrade.in and check it out, and you can join in there where we're going to learn everything with like 15 plus projects, 15 plus big projects that we're going to make in that whole course, so that you can learn everything. So if you want it, you can join it, or you can also use this thing, what I'm teaching here on YouTube as essentials, as a Kickstarter, and also learn it on your own. It's totally up to you. Is that clear, everyone? So that's it for today. Thank you so much for learning with me. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see all of you tomorrow where we are going to start with DOM manipulation. And I want all of you guys to be there, and also tell your friends and everyone so that they can also join and learn something with us. Okay, so I want to see all of you tomorrow, everyone. So bye bye, guys. See you tomorrow exactly at 6, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye, everyone.